Welcome to the University of Notre Dame video for Accounting for Business. This video will look at how to record transactions in a statement of financial position. The statement of financial position contains assets, liabilities and equity and is based on the formula assets equals liabilities and equity. So let's have a look at the worksheet. This is the worksheet that will be available on Blackboard and that you've currently accessed. It shows each of the transactions that are related to a landscaping and gardening business that Charlie Pack has decided to set up. He's chosen to use the sole trader business structure. His transactions for the first 2 months of his business are listed, 1 to 12, and our objective will be to complete the worksheet below with each of these transactions. The worksheet is set out to show assets in green, liabilities in orange, and equity in blue. Assets are something acquired that provides a future economic benefit to the business. Liabilities are obligations likely to result in an outflow of resources. Equity is the balancing item comprised of initial contributions or withdrawal of funds and profits you make from running the business. To make a profit, income must be greater than expenses. Let's start with the first transaction. Charlie contributes $20,000 of his own funds to start the business. I've reformulated the worksheet for the video purposes and eliminated the transactions, but you can follow along with the transactions above. The first transaction, Charlie contributes $20,000 of his own funds to start the business. This is his contributed capital or equity in the business. This would increase contributed capital, and given that Charlie contributed cash funds, also increase the funds in the bank account or cash by $20,000. This is an asset of the business, so we will add $20,000 to both the cash column and also the contributed equity column. The second transaction is a loan from an Australian bank. We now have an obligation to repay this amount in the future, and therefore liabilities are increased by $20,000. The bank provides us with cash funds, so cash and asset is also increased by $20,000 again. Now Charlie has the funds in the business, he decides to purchase a motor vehicle and some gardening equipment, transactions 3 and 4. Both the motor vehicle and the gardening equipment will be assets of the business as they provide future economic benefit to the business. And so we add to the relevant columns in the asset class. How did we pay for the assets? By cash payment. So in both cases, the cash account is reduced by the relevant amount. Next, Charlie purchased office supplies for use in the business, and this time he purchases the supplies on credit. He receives an invoice and is required to pay the invoice within 30 days. Therefore, he has an obligation and an account to be paid. Accounts payable are increased by 1,000, and the office supplies or asset is also increased by 1,000. The first month has passed and Charlie has carried out gardening work to the value of $2,000, receiving payment from his customers in cash. The income of the business is increased as well as the bank account is increased by $2,000. The expenses incurred in the first month of the business, such as fuel costs to visit clients and provide quotes, was $3,150. These expenses were higher than the income generated as Charlie was starting up the business and realized it would take some time to build up his client or customer database. These expenses were paid in cash, so the bank account is reduced by this amount, and on the other side we show a reduction in the profit or an amount taken off the income. In the second month, income improved to $6,500. Charlie now has some regular customers who've asked to be invoiced for payment within 30 days. Of the $6,500 income earned, $1,750 was received in cash, and the balance will be paid by customers at a later date. It is shown under accounts receivable. Charlie decides to pay the account owing to the office supplies supplier of $1,000. This reduces the accounts payable or obligations of the business to zero and reduces the bank account at the same time. Charlie also received part payment of the amounts owing from his customers under item 8. He received $2,000, which increases his bank account and reduces the amount owing from customers. The expenses incurred in the second month of operation were $2,950, so we reduce the bank account by this amount and also note the decrease in profit. Finally, Charlie withdrew cash of $2,000 to cover his living expenses. This reduces the bank by $2,000 and is also noted as a reduction in his equity or net worth. After we have recorded all the transactions, we now want to make sure that the accounting equation assets equal liabilities and equity still holds. So we total each column. The total for the cash column is plus 20,000, plus 20,000, 40,000, minus 25, minus 10, plus 2, minus 3,150, plus 1,750, minus 1,000, plus 2,000, minus 2,950, minus 2,000, which gives us a total of 1,650. The total of accounts receivable, if we keep going across the worksheet, is 2,750. Office supplies, 1,000. Motor vehicles, 25,000. And plant and equipment, 10,000. If we total each of these amounts, cash, accounts receivable, office supplies, motor vehicles and plant and equipment, we get total assets of 40,400. Moving across to liabilities, we have 0 accounts payable because we paid it all off, and we are only left with the bank loan of 20,000. For contributed capital, we have the original amount that Charlie put into the business. We have taken out 2,000 and we have a net profit of 2,400. That is the income of 2,000 for the first month and 6,500 for the second month, less the expenses of 3,150 in the first month and 2,950 in the second month. This profit of 2,400 will increase Charlie's equity in the business. The total of the liabilities and equity, being 20,000 plus 20,000 plus 2,400 minus 2,000, is 40,400. So we can now see that the equation, or the accounting equation, assets equal liabilities and equity, is in balance, and therefore the statement of financial position is balanced. Thank you very much.